Have you ever sent a message that you instantly regretted? Or made a choice that at the moment you felt right, but then afterwards you're like, what was I thinking? What if I told you that the worst decisions in your life can easily be avoided? I'm going to share with you an acronym that could save you from years of regret. It's called HALTS, and it stands for the emotional states that you should avoid when making important decisions. And these states are hungry, angry, lonely, tired, and stressed. Listen, I know life throws a lot at us all the time. But one of the secrets of making good decisions is not about thinking harder about those decisions. It's actually about thinking when to make those decisions. And that's why this tool helps a lot to when make those right decisions. And that's when understanding about the HALTs changes your entire world. Let's start with H, that stands for hungry. Have you ever heard of hunger? Well, it's real and it's extremely dangerous for decision making. When your blood sugar drops, you become a lot more reactive and aggressive. So much so that studies show that judges, they give harsher punishment or sentences right before lunchtime. When you are hungry, you're literally running on empty. So your brain is not making the right, it doesn't have the necessary fuel to make the right decisions. And that's why you are usually more impulsive, more reactive, even more aggressive. So next time you're about to make a big decision, grab a snack and your future self will thank you. Now, A is for angry. When you are angry, you turn on your brain something called a fight or flight response. So instead of thinking clearly, you're thinking more like revenge. This is exactly when people send those career-ending emails or those texts, those breakup texts that they should have avoided, or they should have thought through, because they're so impulsive, because they're angry. Or sometimes when you're angry, you make, for example, poor financial decisions as well, that you are definitely going to regret it. You have to think that anger is like a cloud that fogs your judgment. You know those instances that you quickly react, and then later when you are thinking, you're like, well, I shouldn't have said that, or not that time, or the way I said it. That's because your rational brain is not thinking when you're angry. What's the solution for this then? Well, if you're feeling heated, just hit the pause button. Take a walk, breathe, just let those emotions pass by and allow time to for you to have a better decision-making ability. When you're angry, you don't have a good decision-making ability. L is for lonely. Well, when you're lonely, it's not only bad for you emotionally, but also for your decision making. It's proven that when you're lonely, you make decisions more thinking on the immediate gratification versus long-term benefits. So your delayed gratification is affected when you're lonely. You probably experienced this at some level, like for example, you're lonely, it's late at night, and you make that financial purchase, that major financial purchase that you later regretted just because you didn't have a sounding board, you didn't have anyone to talk to, and you just wanted to fill a certain void, so you make that bad financial decision. Or you connect with that person that you shouldn't connect just to fill an emotional void, but because you're lonely, your judgment is clouded. So that's another important factor about the HALTS technique, which is don't make important decisions when you're lonely. Because remember, loneliness is temporary, but bad decisions can last a long time. T is for tired, which is very easy to understand, because your brain, when your brain is sleep deprived, it's easy not to make the right decisions. You are basically losing the ability to weigh your pros and cons effectively when you're tired. Pay attention to this research that shows if you're being awake for between 17 and 19 hours, your decision making abilities is the same as if you were drunk, like legally drunk. So imagine that, lack of sleep equals making decisions while legally drunk. I'm pretty sure that you wouldn't make good decisions when you are legally drunk, right? Well, if you're not making good decisions or not expecting to make good decisions while intoxicated, why would you make good decisions while you are sleep deprived? So it's very simple. If you have an important decision to make, sleep on it, literally. And finally, S stands for stress. You know that chronic stress floods your brain with cortisol. And what cortisol does, which is really important to understand, is that it will shrink the decision-making part of your brain, which is right here in the front, the prefrontal cortex, and then it will enhance the activity on the amygdala, which controls what? Fear and anxiety. When you're stressed, you either become paralyzed or you make quick and harsh decisions just to make a decision because you're stressed. We know that neither leads to good outcomes. Remember that when you are stressed, the things that look important or feel important might not be as important because you're looking through the lens of being stressed. The bottom line is do the HALTS, check in before you make any important decision. Because good decisions isn't about just having the right information, it's also about the right state of mind that you need to have in order to make that decision a good one. And you have to think that when you do the HALTS checking, you're not avoiding or delaying a decision. You're simply timing them for success. Now, if this video has just saved you from making a bad decision or maybe a decision that is too quick and harsh, if it did, click the like button and share this video. Also, subscribe to the channel because I share here a lot more videos that are going to make you grow, that are going to provide edifying information for you and for your life. Hope you enjoyed this video. I'll see you on the next one. God bless you.